Hey guys, I'm Sean with Cross Country Food Wars, and our next challenge is me and Jim are going to be competing to see who can make the best steak and eggs. I'm sure Jim is going to do some kind of country fried steak or just like a breakfast diner style steak and eggs. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm actually going to make a salt cured egg. So we're going to go ahead and get that part done today, and then obviously this will be, the next time you guys see me after this will be 5 days in the future, no, a week in the future when these are done. Okay, so first thing we need to do is get our mix set up. And our mix is going to be 1 3/4 salt, 3/4 cup salt. Okay. So that is our 1 3/4 cup of salt. And then we're just going to do 1 1/4 cups of sugar. Well, that's exactly what I had in the thing. Absolutely fantastic. And we're just going to give this a quick whisk, and then we're going to reserve part of it. I'm just going to get it nice and combined. Any chunks get broken up. A lot of places will tell you to blend this, but honestly, I find a wick works just as good. People throw this in the blender and in the food processor and all that other stuff. I just think that's excessive. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this mixture back in the container because we need to be able to cover our eggs after the fact. And we're going to spill a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's not like this is all going to be it's not like all this is going to be put in like a pot or something like that, and the measurements have to be exact as far as the amount. It's more the ratios that matter, right? So we're going to get this nice and flat, and then we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a couple of divots here, and this is going to be for the egg yolks to sit in. And I think I'm going to make 6 of these, assuming there are 6 eggs in the thing. Okay. And now we just need to step over here and separate our eggs. Let's do that over here. And what we're going to do is we're just separating the yolk. I just use my fingers. I find that's the easiest thing. And you should end up with something that looks like that. You just drop it in. See, we got some there. It needs to come all the way through. There we go. Just plop that right in there. I know there's tools and methods. There's the water bottle trick that you can do to separate egg yolks. I find that just using your hands and then washing them is the best way to do this. I mean, it really isn't hard. You just run it around a little bit, and eventually you'll end up with just yolk in your fingers. And that one fell off easier than the rest. Okay, we got just our yolks there. We're just going to reserve those whites. There's things we can do with the egg whites. Remember that the egg yolk is almost all fat. The egg white is mostly protein. So there are uses for these egg whites, and we're going to reserve those, and we're going to keep those, and we're going to use those for something else. That we're not going to film probably, but we are going to use them. They'll probably end up in, a smoothie or for a breakfast or something like that. So, coming in again with just our mix of salt and sugar. and this was 1 cup, 1 1 3/4 cup salt to 1 1/4 cup sugar, and we're just going to get these covered. And we're just going to cover them as good as we can with the mix that we have. And that's perfect because looks like we had perfect amount to get them all the way completely covered to the point of not being able to be seen. And now we're just going to lid these, put them in the refrigerator, and we're going to forget about them for a whole week. These are going to be in the refrigerator curing. Away they go. And we'll see you in a week. Later, guys. Hey, guys. And we are 7 days in the future from the last clip. And we are getting ready to make some steak and eggs. Again, we're making a dinner-style steak and eggs. Jim is probably making a breakfast-style steak and eggs. If you look over to your left, there are eggs finishing off in the dehydrator. They have been in a salt, and sugar kind of crust curing for the last week. And we have over here some nice ribeye steaks. And we have the ingredients prepared to make a nice wine sauce as well to go with it. So, plate's gonna look like this: steak in the middle, wine sauce on top, and then we're gonna have our grated egg on the very top. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. The first thing we're gonna do is get our wine sauce going because that takes a while. First thing that needs to happen is we need to get a knob of butter in there. Now, I'm not talking about a kid style or kid size knob of butter. I'm talking about some real butter. We cook with butter in this house. Butter tastes good. Butter makes your food taste good. You should use butter on everything. It's delicious. And over here we have our onions and garlic kind of already pre-chopped up. We got that taken care of. We probably won't use all this, but we got it ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and give this a turn. And then we're going to go ahead and get our onions and garlic in there. Start them sauteing in the butter. Once these get nice and soft, we will get our wine in there. We'll reduce it. And then we will have a delicious wine sauce. I'm getting my salt and pepper in here early. It really doesn't matter when you do this step. I'm choosing to do it now because I'm thinking about it now. And if I forget about it, I'll be very angry with myself. And you'll know when your onions and garlic are done because it'll start to smell fantastic. Now, traditionally, you're supposed to use a dry wine for this. I am using the wine that happened to be in my fridge. Because that's what you actually do when you're at home. I know of very few people who buy a special wine that they don't drink just to cook with. And our sauce is getting pretty close here to what we want. We got a nice thick, almost a syrupy substance. So here's where we're going to go in with our sprigs of rosemary. And adding some beef broth. And then we're going to reduce this back down again. Okay, so we are at a point now where our wine sauce is just about rendered down the way we want it to. We just turned our stove on for our steaks, and that's what it looks like. Got to get these rosemary out of there, because while it adds quite a bit to the flavor, the texture of rosemary leaves a little bit to be desired. And we're probably going to run that through a sieve, actually. Let's get that turned off. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and get our steaks cooked. Into our cast iron skillet goes a generous helping of vegetable or canola oil. We want something with a high smoke point. And we're only going to salt the steak right now, because pepper can and will burn. We'll pepper at the end. We're going to go ahead and give it a flip. Beautiful. We would at some point like that to get a little bit darker, so we will let it go darker than that. We're going to flip it one more time, at least. But we also want it cooked evenly, so we do want our bits of onion and garlic. We do not want the bits of rosemary. I'm going to give this another flip. And these are beginning to look absolutely wonderful. I'm going to sear the fat caps on these for a moment or two, and then we're going to get these out of the skillet and onto the plate to rest, because those temperatures will keep rising for a couple of minutes. Go ahead and get these off. We're going to get that in the middle there. Then we are going to, for the first time in several days here, get a look at our eggs. You guys haven't seen those since we started, and they should actually be safe to pull out by hand, being that they're only in there dehydrating at about 150 degrees. Okay, so we've got our salt cured eggs here, just the yolks, and we're going to go ahead and get these grated up all over our steaks. And spoon it over. Just get a little around. It's not the most beautiful presentation, but I'm not a professional chef. And guys, that is my take on a dinner steak and eggs. Beautifully cooked steak, delicious salt cured egg, and a little red wine sauce. Enjoy.